Okay, here we have two problems that they want us to find the value of x that satisfy the equation and makes it equal to 0. Now, neither of these can be factorized. There are no factors for -7 that add up to give 4. So we need to complete the square. Now, what we're trying to do with complete the square is we're trying to bring the math back to a perfect square, the a plus b squared. So we need it to have the a squared, the 2ab, and the b squared so that we can take it back to this. So if you follow along with the steps, you can't really go wrong. So here are the steps. Step number 1, rewrite the problem using brackets, x squared plus 4x plus something. So plus what would be our b here. And we're going to put our -7 outside. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is work out what this would be. Now, the easiest way to work out what this is be is we would divide the number in front of the x by 2 and square it. So 4 divided by 2 and square it would be 4. Okay, and because we added 4 here, we've changed this maths now. So we need to eliminate the addition of the 4 by subtracting 4 outside. The whole thing still equals 0. So we've come back to a point where we're here, I guess, if you like, and we want to take it back now to a plus b squared. So what is the perfect square of this? Well, it's x plus 2 squared. So x times x, x squared, 2x plus 2x, 4x, 2 times 2, 4. So we've come back to a perfect square. We've completed the square. We simplify this on the outside. -7 minus 4 will be -11, and that equals 0. Now, we need to actually solve it. We're actually trying to find a value for x, so we're going to rearrange all of this. So the first thing, we'll leave this here and we'll take the -11 over to the other side and it becomes positive. We're going to remove the square root, so we have x plus 2 is equal to the square root of 11. Now, if you think about this, the square root of any number has two answers, right? Let's go over here. Let's have a look. Square root of 4 is 2, but the square root of 4 could also be -2 because -2 squared is the same as -2 times -2, which is 4. And 2 squared is the same as 4. So there's always a positive and a minus answer. So it can either be plus root 11 or minus root 11. And remember, when we solve quadratics, there's quite often two answers as where the x-axis is intercepted. Now we just need to move our plus 2 over so we can have plus or minus root 11 minus 2. Just be careful that the square root symbol finishes before there. So one answer is root 11 minus 2. The other answer is negative root 11 minus 2. Now, like any of our maths, we can take this answer, substitute it into the original equation, and it should equal 0, and you should always check your work. Now let's look at the second example. Again, 5 times 1 would get you to 6, not 8, so we can't factorize. So we're going to try and bring it back to a perfect square by working out what it would have been. So again, following the steps, we write down the x squared plus 8x. We're going to add something in here. We're not sure what it is yet. We'll just leave it. We're going to have our plus 5 here, and whatever we add in here, we're going to subtract out here, so that we don't change the math. We still have 0. Add it, you subtract it, it's cancelled, it's still going to be 0. So to find this value, remember we're after the b squared. We know 8x, so 8 is 2ab. So we're going to divide this by 2, gives us 4, and we're going to square it in here, so this will be 16. And then if you added it, you got to subtract it so that it still equals 0. Now we're going to bring this back to our perfect square, so it's x plus, and it's always the half of the middle one. So half of 8 is 4. Just checking that, x times x, x squared. 4x plus 4x, 8x, 4 times 4, 16. And now we simplify this, plus 5 minus 16 will be minus 11, and that equals 0. Now we're going to rearrange it, so we have x plus 4 squared, move the 11 over. X plus 4, move the square root over, remembering that every square root can have two answers, a plus and a minus version of it, because a negative times a negative is a positive and all of that. And then move the 4 over. So our two answers are root 11 take 4 and negative root 11 take 4. Again, substituting them back into this original equation should get you 0. You should always check so that you can walk out of any exam knowing that you got the answer right. Have fun completing the square.